Hello, all. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Deck Profiles. I'll be your host, as I usually am for all of these. And my name is Coach. And I'm here to talk about my favorite condiment, mustard, 100 Dijon. Saw a comment for our updated list. Post Overclash. What an amazing set. So, here you go. Um, As you can see, our buddy is Mikazuchi Fowler, Glaciella Bolas, Thundermine. When you deal effect damage to your opponent, and you have a monster Yamigeto on the field, deal 1 damage to them and draw a card. Um, yeah, as you can see, we're probably going to try to do that a lot. So, why not plus off of it? Uh, so the breadwinner of the deck, we're playing 3 Heavenly Spectre, Yamigeto Mikazuchi. Um, he's amazing. He costs 4 gauge, which is not really an issue anymore. Because when he first came out, it was like, damn, 4 gauge though. Um, but, we got Light Spectre and we got Hakurai Vortex and shit that just charges a lot. So, pretty easy. I'm playing him at 3 because 4 is cloggy. And you really want to see him. You probably want to go into him every game. So, makes sense. He gets Thundermine for all the cards in his soul. So, stack him up. And at the start of each player's turn, he grabs a 100 demon from the deck, throws it in his soul. Next, playing 2 Light Spectre, Yamigeto Mikazuchi. Uh, Fantastic card. Wish we had this a lot sooner, to be honest, but I get it. The legacy support. Um, his Thundermine is when you deal, or when your opponent attacks alone, deal 1 damage to them. He has an errata. It says monster on the card, but it got errata to card. Uh, at the end of your turn, you can pay a life to call a Yamigeto from your hand or drops on top of him. So usually you just go to him and whatnot. Or any other Yamigeto you need to, but primarily we just go for Heavenly Spectre. Next, playing 1 Kokujo Yamigeto. His Thundermine is when a monster enters your opponent's field, deal 1 damage to them. Really good setting up first turn, especially against like D-Dragons or like pretty much any deck that's just like pro monster, you know, Zwei, Chaos, Black Organization, yada yada. He has a second ability that is rarely used, but you can discard a 100 demon monster from your hand or a card with Omnilord, target a monster in your opponent's field and destroy it. Not once per turn, but it comes in handy sometimes if you ever really call him. He's primarily just going to be an assault. Next, playing 2 Revenger Ikazuchi. I'm thinking about bumping him up to 3, but then kind of get a little cloggy because I primarily want to use him for his effect, which is when a size 3 swings, deal 1 damage to them. He resizes down to a 0 if you have a 3 on your board, which you most likely always should. And he has Soul Guard, which is really nice for targeting him with soul-based effects like Iris Lilac or Pale Riders and shit, you know. Next, 2 Mikazuchi Knight Rebellious. Thundermine when your opponent casts a spell, deal 1 damage, just like Stranger Dilemma. But he's slightly better due to the fact that he charges and draw when he comes into play if you have another Avenger or 100 Demon, which you most likely should. Only playing 2 because after you put Yami on the board, you really don't want to see monsters that you can't call that will resize him off. So I'm playing 1 called Dragon Migidos. It can't be called to the center, whatever. Thundermine, when your opponent puts a card under gauge, take 1. Your opponent has to gauge cards to play better cards, so it makes sense. And his third ability is like, if he's on the field and Thundermine is dealt to your opponent, he sacks himself off, even if it's not him, but yeah, whatever. One Death Ruler, Daredevil. He has Shadow Dive, Thundermine. During your turn, when a monster in your opponent's field is destroyed, deal 1 damage. You can do this, or your opponent can destroy one of the monsters and he's still dealing damage. So, very versatile. Adds a slight amount of pressure to make your opponent not want to play cards. One hasty evolution, Yamigeto. When he's in the soul of a monster, Thundermine, and your opponent attacks with an item, deal 1 damage to him once per turn. If it wasn't once per turn, that'd be lit. Unfortunately, Bushiroad always fucking up. He can counter call a size 3 Yamigeto from your deck during your final phase. So if you kind of like go through some draws and shit and you miss any of your Yamigetos, you can still get him. He's good for getting around Antimatter Cloud, because that's a hurt piece if you have to, if you're playing like SDW, because they really love that card, because size 3s are on the rise in this format. Again, hence our Crystal God. Only 1, because I'm on the fence about taking him out, but he's good enough to stay. Next we're playing Yamigeto Larva. 2 of these things, because this card is really great. He's like the one spell we got way back when, which is like if you got Yami on the board, Piggy, pick up a monster from the drop. But instead, if you have a size 3 Yami on board, when he enters play, you can pick up any 100 Demon from your drop zone, which is significantly better. It's a once per turn skill, because his name, which is whatever, but you can reuse him on your turn and your opponent's turn by just calling him back with card effects, so really good. He also has another ability, which is when he's milled from the deck, you can call him from the drop zone, but you'll never really do that unless you're playing like Abigail or some shit. Next we're playing 3 Jom, because Jom's the text, I didn't know we needed this card until we got it. When he comes into play, you can pitch a card from your hand to gauge a card and grab 100 Demons item from your deck, add it to hand. Second ability, Thundermine, when your opponent gains a life, you can deal 1 damage to them. Really good. It's a Thundermine that definitely needed to cover its bases when it was on the rise, but I guess they didn't think about that. 3 to Buddy. The thing about playing him at 4, I don't know. I feel like 4 is too cloggy, because sometimes you could just not see a Yami. He's just a vanilla card, unless you want Buddy calling for the 1 life, but I want his effect. So, to make space for other things and consistency, playing him at 3. 2 Pale Riders. Love this card. When he comes into play, Suicide Break, you can rip a soul out of 100 Demons, or Black Knight, pay a life. Draw 2 cards. You can call him back on your opponent's turn with Gate of Dark Deed and rip another soul to draw 2 cards. It's all about pluses here. Because there's a bit of a hand issue where it's like after you doing, your shit, you burn him, your opponent, whatever, you setting up, that you just kind of run low, because the one draw you get from Glass Shadow Bolas is cool, but it doesn't really save you, Plus, large hands intimidate your opponent. 2 Yamigeto SD. Thought about playing him at 3, but you could search him, so it's like, what's the point? Counter, you can throw him into the soul of a size 3 restand it. Thundermine, when he's in the soul of a monster, whenever they draw a card by card effect, take a point of damage. Nice One, draw 2, take 2. If 2 of these are in the soul, Nice One, draw 2, take 4, 2 Go Rika. I love this weapon. I'm only playing 2 because you can recycle and reuse this so much with just throwing it back in the deck and then searching it out with Jarl, whatnot. While it's equipped, your opponent can't destroy your monsters with card effects, which is very nice. It can attack past your center like most Hydra Demon weapons. And counter, you can sack this off to target the size 3 of your field, give it 10/10 and counter attack. So you can make Heavily Spectre on a good day 19, which is alright number. I mean, I really don't do shit because people swing for like a billion, but you know, it's better than that. 3 Hakurai Vortex. You can only have one of this set on the field at a time, which is, you know, I get it. I wouldn't want to mad plus either. While it's on the board, none of your 100 demons can have their effects negated or their soul ripped. Very useful because, you know, loyalty and shit. And then when you deal effect damage to your opponent, once per turn, charge, draw, gain a life. This is what Raikiri should have been from the beginning, but I get it. Next 3 Exploding Circle. I would play it at 4, but due to the fact that I need a Yamigeto, size 3 Yamigeto on the field, kind of just, it feels like it will break, it will hurt me more than it will save me. Counter, draw a card, choose one of the following 2. Not once per turn. Stand to 100 demon, or choose a monster in your field, negate its destruction and gain life equal to its size. So target Yami, gain 3 life, and then he has like a pseudo shield. Really great. Probably the best defense card 100 demons got in a long time. 3 Cataclysmic Circle. Pay a life. Pay a life. Choose one of the following 2 once per turn. You can only cast this. Grab 2 Yamis from your deck with different names. If you add 2, drop 1. Or counter, call 100 demons monster from your drop zone by paying its call cost. Most times the monsters you are summoning are free, unless in a rare chance where you need to like kind of miss an attack or make your opponent miss an attack by resummoning a Yami to like really sponge that board up. This card is ridiculous. This is what the first search spell should have been, but I get it. You need it to make it better. Still good enough to play the first one, but maybe I don't know. I'm playing it at 3 because playing it at 4, I saw it way too much, and since it's once per turn, it's not like it was really helping me if I kept drawing into it after I already played it. So. But it's counter. You can play it on your opponent's turn, which is true. But what if it get negated? You know, this is all hypothetical. You know, I ain't saying I'm scared of spell negate, but it's out there. 3 Backfeeding Source. Cast cost, put 100 demon from your drop zone to the bottom of your deck. Hence why I say you can reuse the weapon a bunch. You know, you sack it off, use this, put it back, call your own, search this shit again. Charge and draw. Then if you got monster or Yamigeto in the field, it doesn't matter the size. So you can get the second ability with the size 0s if you choose. Which is your opponent can't reduce your effect damage, which is kind of useful, but there are a fair amount of decks that just say you can't deal damage to me at all. So it's like, what is this card really doing? 3 Ghetto Shield. I wasn't playing this at first because I was stupid, but after revising quite a lot, I'm like, alright, it got going there, because I was playing Yami Takage, but Yami Takage kept getting me killed because people kept nullifying my shit. And I'm on the fence. I like Ghetto Shield as a shield, but I don't like the stipulation to play it, which is you on an opponent's attack, you need 2 or more 100 demons on the field, which you should always have, but sometimes the game don't work like that, you know. I went for the easier block, but I think having the added protection of saying you can't nullify this is a lot better. You nullify dealer damage to him by paying 1 gauge. 2 Unorthodox Miasma. Cast calls put 3 monsters from your drop zone to the bottom of your deck, any order. You can recycle all that Thunder Mine that you're probably ditching from like soul based skills or like Soul Guard and shit. Put it back, search it again, put it back, and have release back there. I love working parts. Choose one of the following 2. You can tell your opponent that their monster effects don't work if you have a monster where Yami get on the board, or counter, say your field can't be destroyed by card effects, which is probably the most prominent one that you're using. I like it at 2 due to the fact of, like, if I go first, I'm probably not ever really going to be able to play this card. Because, like, you need 3 monsters in the drop zone, and it's just, it's real, like, RNG if you can get that. So, maybe, like, after, like, 2 turns, this is live. But I would rather see it than not see it at all, you know. Playing Too Pathetic. Now, this card is very heads or tails. Because it works, but definitely for some matchups, since this is a very like strong season of Buddy Fight where people are swinging for like 70K and like a million and shit, it don't do nothing. So the skill is minus 2k power to all items and monsters in your opponent's field for the turn. So even if new things come in, they're weak. It's a cheeky defense, because it's like, what if you just don't want to like use your shields and whatnot? In my eyes, this card is really saying if anybody is 11k thousand or higher, they're always going to touch Yami, because if you're 10 and they use this, you're not touching them. Or if you're 21,000, which is numbers that you should be seeing often in this game, depending on what you're playing. This is the easiest card to decide out, depending on matchup. 2 Gated Darkness Dragon, because reuse those zeros until the game is over. Reuse and abuse. You can only set 1, which is a common theme with a lot of 100 Demon set spells, unfortunately. At the start of your opponent's main phase, you can pay a gauge. If you do, summon 2 size 1 or less monsters from your drop zone to the left or right. You have a large slew of targets, from the Buddy to Dijon to Pale Riders to Yamigeta Larva. Rarely ever going to call back Hasted Evolution or Yami SD, because they don't really do anything on your opponent's turn. But, you know, if you want to fill your board. Also, when this card leaves the field, it's sent to the drop zone. Deal 1 damage to your opponent. You know, sometimes it get popped. You like, haha, you take 1. 2 Iris Lilac. I'm jumping back and forth between maining 3 and then or maining 2 side the extra 1. Cast calls Rip a Soul from a card in your field. You can only cast this during your turn, which is like, I get it, but it would be great if I could do this with both players' turn. Look at the top 3. I want to hand gauge the rest. Pretty simple. I'm glad that this is 100 demons, because kinda needed it. Kind of. Next, playing 1 copy of Thundermine Stance. I really love this card. Not enough to play that too, but when I see it, because you can grab it back. You know, you want to draw a fair amount in this deck anyway, if you can burn your opponent. If counter during your opponent's main phase, you can counter call any size 2 or less monster with Thundermine from your drop zone to your field. So when your opponent would cast or summon a monster, you can respond with this by summoning back mostly Glacial Bolas, just to get the extra burn and draw off of them. Or in rare cases, if they play a spell, you could get Mikazuchi Knight back and, you know, charge and draw and burn them for 1. You know, it depends on how you want to go with it. Last of the spells, 2 Tenno Makari or Tenno Mikari or Maka, whatever. Really simple spell. deal a damage to your opponent, and you gain a life. Easy as shit. We're playing 2 because we want to proc our if I deal damage to my opponent effects just on our own. Like if I want to start a massive burn chain, I can do it. I don't have to wait for my opponent to do something. Because a lot of times, depending on the situation, your opponent just won't play shit, and then you'll be like, well, I guess I'll attack for face, and then they won't die, and it's like, well, shit, what the fuck? In my eyes, this card says, if you have, like, you know, Vortex on field, and Glacier, it's deal a damage, gain a life, and then those 2 will proc, and then it essentially kind of turns into a draw card, in a sense. Rarely ever gets negated, and it's not once per turn, so if you really need to, you can pick it back up with Larva and then burn them again. You know, just cheeky chip damage just to put them in a threshold where it's like, if you do anything, you might die. I was playing it at 3, saw it way too much, cut it down to 2, working out fine. Last of the deck, 2 impacts. This is at 55, by the way, because it's just, playing it at 50, I was too tight on space, so I was like, I needed more, played it at 52, still needed more cards, now it's at 55, and it's working wonders. 2 copies of Beast Mode, Hungry Claw War. Very simple impact. You can only cast it if you have an item and a monster on your center. Pay 2 gauge, deal 3 damage to your opponent. Not once per turn. You know, you can, if you have double, you can deal 6 damage to your opponent, which really can put them in a bad spot, depending on how your setup is going. Yeah. I don't know how valuable this 100 Demons can be in a very Athora, Rise of Athora again, and Demon Dragons, just a whole bunch of shit that's like you can't deal effect damage to me. Since like we're having the same issues since like 2015, 16-ish. Who knows? I don't know. I'm still testing shit, still working things out. I feel like Thundermine is like maybe good for like casual things. I don't know. I want to make it competitive. I want to win with it, so I can get my list and go to Japan and shit. But yeah, that's the list. I am working on Hakugan list. I might post it, might not. I don't know. Hope this helps. This is what I've been doing. You know, let me know what you've been doing. If you like the video, leave a comment, like, and subscribe. If you don't like the video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Pretty simple. Like, you know, I mean, it's your body. You can do whatever you want with it. I ain't gonna, you know.